What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fortnite Battle Royale on BlackTide TV. In today's episode, bring back Blitz. I'd like to bring up all of the things that made the Blitz limited time mode so special to me and so many other players, and why Epic Games should strongly consider taking some of the elements from the Blitz limited time mode and implementing those into the standard Battle Royale rotation. That is to say, I don't want to see the limited time mode return. I'd rather see the limited time mode become the standard in terms of your solos, duos, squads here in Fortnite Battle Royale. Most of the elements from that game mode I prefer to how they work naturally in the game, and would like to see other limited time modes experiment with the fundamentals of Fortnite Battle Royale. But before we get into that main topic, I'd like to bring your attention to Animals in Need. Earlier this week, I was approached by a subscriber on my Twitter page, at BlackTide TV, link in the description, and he was looking for my assistance in a school fundraiser. He's actually working on a project to take action in society and make a difference in the lives of others, and so his group decided to help out the Calgary Humane Society. They're running a fundraiser. He's got like a bake sale and all kinds of stuff like that. Obviously, we can't participate in that, but he is looking for donations through a special affiliate link, and I've left that link in the description down below, as well as a link to his Twitter page, Kareem at Oompaloompa360. You can find a link to his Twitter page. You can find a link to the donation site. You can read a little bit more about it. I've also posted a little thing about a little blurb, and I've pinned that to my Twitter profile. I've done a donation. It would be great if you guys could check that out as well. It's totally up to you guys. It's not obligatory, but it is awesome to make a difference in the world, and helping out animals in need is like a huge thing. So if you guys could just take 5 minutes and check that out for me, I would really appreciate it. But without further ado, we're going to hop into bringing back the Blitz limited time mode. To get us started, what are limited time modes as they pertain to Fortnite Battle Royale, and how was Blitz different from the general formula? Limited time modes are often week-long events, special modes that you can play other than your standard solo duo squad. 9 times out of 10, they're squad-based game modes, sometimes solos. Rarely you'll see a duos special limited time mode. The limited time modes often play with the variables of Fortnite Battle Royale. For example, the current limited time mode is snipers only, so you only have access to sniper rifles. We've seen solid gold in the past, where you could only find gold variants of your weapons, etc, etc. So very different types of modifiers on the base Battle Royale formula. Blitz was an especially interesting limited time mode because of the way it was different from the base formula, where other limited time modes would simply restrict your weapon choices or change the way one small thing works. Blitz, on the other hand, took the base formula and sped it up. It was Battle Royale, just slightly faster, slightly more aggressive. When you spawn in, the circle is already on the map detailing where the storm is going to be, and the storm moves twice as fast. You have less time to loot, you have less time to engage in gunfights with other players, and you're constantly on the move, meaning less building and more gunfights, more straight up one-on-one gunfights with enemy players, and more hectic happenings on the map. There were a lot more materials to be gathered as well. When you were gathering materials, you would gather at 2 or 3 times the normal rate. They actually had to nerf the speed at which you gather materials in the Blitz mode, and they slightly adjusted that, but even still, you would gather materials incredibly quickly, which would take a lot of that passive nature of the game out. Instead of standing in a safe area and mining for materials, chopping down trees, chopping down buildings, you didn't have time for it, for one, and two, with the limited time you had, you actually got more materials than you would in the standard Battle Royale because of how fast those materials were earned. And last but not least, there was increased floor loot. Now this one is debatable. For a lot of players that I played with, we didn't find that there was a ton of floor loot. Apparently they increased the amount of loot that you would find on the ground. It was like an 80% chance that the floor loot would spawn, and an increased chance, like a 50% increase, that chests would spawn. So it was much easier to find loot, though I wouldn't necessarily agree. I still found it very difficult to find the loot, and even when you did, you would run out of ammo pretty quickly because the ammo didn't increase, just the amount of loot increased. So you would find more weapons on the ground, but not as many bullets for those weapons. That one's a little bit more complicated, but the things that made this mode great were specifically the storm location, the material gather rate, and the increased loot on the ground, because this led to a much more aggressive gunfight heavy kind of game. It made it more shooter than tactical shooter. Naturally, Fortnite Battle Royale, there's a lot of building, and especially when you get towards those later circles where the storm is moving very slowly and you have time to set up and you can wait out people in the storm, people tend to build monster bases, and that is fun all on its own, but a lot of players still aren't that excited about the base building. A lot of players that are coming over from Call of Duty or PUBG, they're not keen for the building aspects, and while that is a fundamental part of the Fortnite Battle Royale formula, it isn't the best for everyone, and the Blitz mode made this so much more manageable. One, you could build more if you wanted to build more, but you had to build quickly, and two, you could completely ignore building and go straight for the rush because the storm is coming up behind you anyways, and you need to get into gunfights and get out very quickly. So I found that in the Blitz mode, players were just naturally more aggressive. You would see more gunfights, it would be a more exciting game, and the games wouldn't last as long, so you could have more time jumping between groups of friends to play in squads, or just jumping into a new game when you died. Something that's really negative about the Battle Royale kind of game type in general is when you die, if you're playing squads or duos, you are now sitting there for 15 minutes plus doing nothing but watching your team. And that can be fine if you are a very competitive team and you were like, okay, we're going to win, and you're cheering on your team or you're directing them to go to certain areas, you're giving them call outs. But when you aren't doing things like that, when you are playing with a bunch of players where you're just there for the fun of it, or you were playing with players that aren't the best at the game and you die, you're now sitting there for 15 plus minutes and it isn't as fun. It's really draining is what I'm trying to say. Whereas in the Blitz mode, there's much more potential for dipping in and out of games and in and out of action within those games. I find that in the Blitz mode, I am encountering many more players than I would naturally because everyone is aware of where the circle is going to be, rather than most players being killed by the storm on their run to the destination. We get to kill those players. We get to experience more hectic gunfights, more players in one area at once. And that is normally a big problem for me in Fortnite Battle Royale. I'll run for 5 or 10 minutes, never see a soul, and then suddenly be attacked by 3 squads at once. That can be a little defeating. But in the Blitz mode, I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for fast-paced gunfights and players that are being very, very aggressive, and players that are in my general vicinity. In layman's terms, the Blitz mode simply provides a much more aggressive style of gameplay, which I think a lot of players prefer. I like to get into gunfights in crazy locations. I don't want to drop into tilted towers for my only chance at a Battle Royale style gunfight. I want to be able to fight multiple squads at once. I don't want to sit and wait for enemies for 5+ minutes because everyone is in a completely different area of the map and everyone is playing incredibly passively, gathering materials, building their own bases. Blitz doesn't give you the chance to do that. You are always on the move, you are always playing aggressively, and you can get in and out of gunfights very quickly, and I think that's just the ideal way to play this game. I really, really enjoyed Blitz mode, both in solos and in squads, and I would love to see them implement some of these elements to the base Battle Royale formula, especially the circle, the starting circle, and the increased material gather rate so that we can build quick ramps, we can engage people with quick builds. Generally speaking, it's the passive fort building players that have all of the materials, whereas the aggressive hunter type like myself, we don't get the time to pick up materials because we're hunting down enemy players and getting kills. So you gather more materials, you can have a more aggressive map-based game, and that's why I think the Blitz mode should become the standard, or at least parts of the Blitz mode should become the standard. But if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe, And let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the Blitz mode. What's your favorite limited time mode in Fortnite so far? Check out that link for the Calgary Humane Society, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.